NPCs, also known as non-player characters, aka not you, aka the AI or artificial intelligence, the civilians, the fodder. Basically, a lot of the time, they can be pretty annoying. Now, we've dived into this topic before, but we have more to say and nitpick for fun, so we're talking 10 things NPCs do that really annoy us. Starting off with number 10, when NPCs say random stuff when you walk past them. Ever stroll through a town in a game and a character is like, hey, sorry, I can't talk right now. Okay, dude, I don't even know who you are, nor did I want to talk to your ass in the first place. You've had it happen to you like a million times. You're on your way somewhere and some random NPC off to the side, maybe at like a market stall, catches a glimpse of you and, you know, not to reference the 1,000-year-old meme, but like he has to tell you all about his arrow he took to the knee. Dude, I didn't ask. Can you imagine in real life walking down the street and people just saying things at you, saying things in your direction? I mean, well, okay, here, I live in New York. That does kind of happen all the time, but still, you know what I mean? It's the problem with you being the main player in the stage that is the game. You know, the game is designed around you, the player, and with that, the entire world and all of its citizens are based around you. It's gotta be exciting, right? Always some dialogue, always something going on, right? Not every game goes as far as this, but when they do, sometimes it's kind of annoying. Now next, on the flip side, ever notice how many NPCs can often just straight up forget who you are? I know you don't want to be pestered by them constantly, but it is really funny when you essentially like save the world, you know? I'll be totally fair, there are some open world games that do really get it right. They acknowledge who or what you are, they don't forget, or after you save the world, there's a bunch of dialogue changes, but the games where the NPCs just straight up don't care about your deeds in that world are definitely distracting, but they're also kind of hilarious. It could be you saving their entire world, maybe even very publicly, or it could be you committing heinous acts, stealing, murdering, I don't know, just minutes before, and then they're like, hi, hello, how are you? Hello, traveler, welcome to my shop. That's it, huh? Like, all I had to do was walk outside and load and then walk back in? Okay. The few games that do actually get this right need to be commended. Now over at number 8, let's talk about open world games where there's crime and police systems and stuff like that. So say you follow the road rules in a game, but then a cop rams into you and then suddenly you're in trouble for it. Now, games like Grand Theft Auto handle this very delicately. A lot of the system works like it's depending on like how you hit, whether or not you're holding the accelerator. Usually there's a better chance that you won't get in trouble for it, but there's still games where cops are really willing to just jump on you because you bump into them or you tap them with your car or you bump into a guard on the street and they pop off. I get it that sometimes they need to be like the point of action, the enemy, the opposition for you in a game, but when you're going about your business, come on, digital police officer, leave me alone. It's even funnier in some games, like if you see a police officer like fighting a bad guy and then you go and you fight that bad guy and then the police officer gets mad at you. The rules are screwy in these games sometimes, I don't know, it's funny. Now next up, let's talk about stealth games. So say you're on like in a stealth mission and you're slowly creeping along, doing everything right, and then of course, like it happens in stealth games, an enemy sees you. Then suddenly 20 other enemies in that level instantly know that there is an intruder and they know exactly where you are without any communication whatsoever. Sometimes someone will spot you and not even say anything to his companions. All of a sudden, you're just up shit's creek. That doesn't make sense, you know? Like I said, we're really nitpicking here, but like when stealth games rely on some level of realism with you creeping around, how come when the enemy sees you, it goes full video game and logic goes out the window and they can instantly just hunt you down like you had like a GPS tracker on you and they have the map? It's not fair. It makes life really difficult in some stealth games. You know, I think, again, it's important to point out that the games that get this right really do a good job, and it definitely makes a difference, but the ones that get it wrong are very annoying. Next up, ever see in a game like Skyrim, you see NPCs fight a dragon with like a stick or like a small knife. It's really funny, like when non-combatant NPCs will literally just go and be willing to rush to fight anything in the world of Skyrim. You know, like, look at this. Oh my god, that is definitely a troll or a giant or like a killer mud crab. This definitely looks like a job for me, the random vegetable cart lady. Just back off. The game is already filled with a bunch of annoying guards and me, the player. Let us handle it. You don't need to run and just immediately die fighting an enemy 10 times your size that you were not at all prepared for. It seems like in a lot of these games, NPCs are just so willing to die at a moment's notice. Like, why be so willing to thrust your life away to fight some random monster when you could easily just run away, especially if you're in the wilderness. You can just dip. But no, everybody wants to stand their ground and fight sometimes, and it's hilarious. Now, coming over to number 5, say, you know, you have like a protect mission, an escort mission, where you have to protect an NPC, and the NPC does nothing to save itself or even help the situation. Again, it's another type of NPC reason where they're just begging to be killed. There's a million examples. There's stuff like Ashley from Resident Evil 4. There's games where you have to escort a VIP, a high-profile person who are just getting attacked from all sides, and half the time that person doesn't do anything to help, like move out of the way or try and run away from that danger. No, the amount of times I've seen characters in an escort mission just stand there and stare down the opposition and take a direct hit to the face, it's really frustrating to see, especially because these missions are just stressful and annoying to begin with. Generally, over time in video game history, people hate on escort missions, and I think you can completely chalk it up to the fact that sometimes the AI is really dumb and doesn't help you. Again, it goes back to the theme of like NPCs in games just be willing to die, like willing to kill themselves. Believe me, look, if the game let me take you out of your misery, I would have helped you out, Mr. NPC, but I can't. The only way I can beat the game is to deal with you. Now, over at number 4, in some games, like Elder Scrolls games, sometimes you have an enemy that will quote-unquote surrender, and then they just get up and they continue attacking you anyway. Like, what is the point? You know, most of the time these types of systems in these games do work well, and I get there's supposed to be some tension. It's not supposed to be as easy as just like, oh, surrender, done, switch is off. But when an enemy just suddenly goes back to attack mode, it's so jarring and weird and just makes them look even stupider, especially because most of the time you can just put them down immediately. I don't know, I think it really chalks it down to NPC motivations or lack thereof, or the randomness of them. It's just really annoying. Now, over at number 3, let's talk about a funny one. When NPCs just do weird stuff to keep busy. You know, maybe it's an NPC in a mission area and he's been trying to do this thing for a long time, and then you, the character, are the one who comes along and helps him out. Maybe it's somebody that was looking for something when literally it was right behind them the whole time, and they've spent all this time looking for it. Like, good job, dude, you dumb idiot. Or even just people out on streets in games. Maybe someone's sweeping, like a shop owner or something, and then you'll notice them like put down the broom and then pick the broom up and then put the broom down and then pick it back up like 1,000 times. Hey man, I mean, the digital world might be pretty boring. You gotta keep busy somehow, huh? I love seeing NPCs get caught in loops. I feel like we should just make a whole compilation video just about that, but I digress. Now, over at number 2, going back to like police stuff, let's talk about it more in like racing style games, specifically certain Need for Speed games where like the police will chase every other racer on the street and just focus on you and ramming you off the road. Now, thankfully, as video games have progressed, we don't really see this that much in 2020, but growing up, that was quite a problem where, like, again, you are the main player on the stage. The whole world reacts to you. But it's also really frustrating when enemies are just pounding you and not focusing on any of the other threats around. So yes, like, while I do say it is a lot of like racing games and open world crime and driving games, this really happens in other games as well, and it, again, is really dumb. Like, what are the rules, NPC? Are you gonna follow the real world rules or the video game rules? Or some weird hybrid where I have to figure out what the hell you're gonna do any second? Honestly, it is fun. Tussling with the AI is fun. Seeing what they can do, manipulating them. It is really funny, but again, sometimes it annoys people, and we've seen this one pop up a lot in comment sections. Now, finally, down to our last one. Say you're in a game and you've killed like 20 dudes in an enemy faction all at once, like this big slaughter. And then, of course, there's always that other NPC character that just happened to be just out of earshot or the technical limitations. Then he finally gets in the room and, ignoring all 20 of the dead bodies on the floor, looks at you and says, I'm gonna kill you. Like, read the room, man. What? maybe it's Fallout, maybe it's a Bethesda game, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not even an RPG, but like this does happen sometimes, and wow. I think it comes back to the theme though, like we've been going with this video. Some NPCs are just so willing to throw their life on the line for nothing. Throw their life at you, throw their life at obstacles in the game, because they just want to die. Maybe it's because the video game world is so boring, I don't know, but this is a really weird video, so we want to hear from you guys in the comments. What other things NPCs do that really bother you? We know you've probably got plenty of complaints, and like I said, we've talked about this stuff before. We might make this an ongoing series, so let us know your biggest issues. But if you enjoyed this video, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out, man. We appreciate that. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.